Hi friends, hope you can hear me over the truck. Today is glassing day, fiberglass day. So let me show you kind of the way I do it. I know some people are going to say, don't do that way, don't do it way. My boat, I do what I want. Let me show you.
We got some 1708 biaxial glass. I'm going to use that to fill in some of the holes I'll show you. But basically what I did is I'll start with just around the hole of the hole, and then I'll build it up. So this will be the next piece, and this will be the next piece. Keep in mind the boat will have 2 layers of 1708 over top of it. So realistically, this is fine for the hole. Now let me show you the hole. Hi friends, here's one of the many holes in this boat. What I have done is to kind of shade this in at a 45 slope. I cannot get to the inside. The correct way would be to glass from the inside. There is a wash machine and there is a whole things of I cannot get to the inside. So ideally, again, glass from the inside first. And if you got to cut out holes in your boat to get inside, do it. But for me, what I'm going to do is these 3 layers of 1708. I'm going to overlap them like this. And then keep in mind this boat is getting 2 layers of 1708 over top of this, so this will be plenty for this hole. The goal is not to have the glass, when you put it in, get it wet, to not have it concave in there and create a dimple. We want to just kind of get it nice and flat. We're going to get a nice grab on the edge and all the way up to the here. All right, we'll see how we go.
Bad hair day. Good morning, friends. I'm going to show you some of the updates on the repairs I've done so far. If we recall here, this is a section I took out and replaced with some foam. I shaved the foam down. I put a little bit of fairing, not much, and then I sanded that down some more, and then I started with some biaxial, put it inside here, and then I built my biaxial, which is 1708. I built my layers up. So far this is 3 layers. This turned out fantastic. Pretty much no air bubbles, and it's pretty much exactly what I would like. I'm going to sand this down smooth. Keep in mind, since I peeled the boat, and for those of you who want to ask me why, watch the prior videos. But since I'm laying 2 layers of biaxial, or 1708, on top of this boat, I'm happy with this so far. Again, you'll see some, this was a hole right here, and I did the same thing. I couldn't get to the inside, but what I did kind of do is put some backing so it wouldn't go too indentation too far. And then I built out my 1708 on here. I started small and built out, and so far this is 3 layers of 1708. This actually turned out really well, and I'm very happy with it. But as we all know, when we're dealing with epoxy, I was rushing. And the sun was coming down and I was rushing, and I shouldn't have done that. So over here, this turned out fairly well. I have some air bubbles. I have a few air bubbles that'll come out with a sander. No big deal. This turned out okay. This is 3 layers of 1708 in this section here. But we come down to when I was working too fast and I ended up making a mistake. This is 1 layer of 1708, and then what happened is when I put the epoxy on, it slipped out of my hands, and so I got saying, oh wow, this ended up coming out of my hands, and this is just a mess. But the epoxy was starting to set up, so I just quickly put it on here. It is what it is. I'll sand it down, and it is what it is. That's just the nature of the game. But a few of the sections I did here, put some epoxy fairing down. I'm not filling holes with the epoxy, but I am just adding a thin layer, a skim coat more or less to it, and then I'll sand most of this clean. This will give me a nice bonding area, and those of you who don't think that resin or glass is going to bond the fairing compound, you may want to Google that. And no, this is not auto body, and I'll explain why I said that in another video. But did the same thing here. I had a little too much fairing, but no big deal because I'm gonna have to sand this down. I sand it down so I can leave a good gap here, and I'll start filling this out with 1708 as well. Probably 3 to 4 layers of 1708 here, and then I can build it out so it's just flush here, and then again this whole boat is going to get 1708 on top of it. So this turned out really well. Very happy with this section here. And the last one here, hopefully the sun doesn't get me, is this section right here. There was a small hole here. I was able to build out 3 layers of biaxial here. Might build out another layer. I might put another layer of the biaxial on here, and then I got to fair in the shape back, and then I'll add 1708 again on the whole boat. So all in all, it's coming along just fine.